trustworthiness, respect, responsibility. And now to fairness. We've got a pair of coaches, Karen and Ralph Weekly, 7 years as head softball coaches here at the University of Tennessee. And here to talk to us about fairness tonight, coaches Karen and Ralph Weekly.
As coaches and leaders of youth programs, we have a tremendous privilege and a responsibility to teach both life lessons and to build character within our athletes. One of the lessons that is very important is fairness. Every athlete, coach, sponsor, and program deserves the opportunity to compete on a level playing field. Unfortunately, in today's society, our youth are bombarded with examples of athletes and coaches who have either ignored or manipulated the rules to win. An entire relay team might lose their Olympic gold medals because one athlete consumed performance-enhancing drugs. Collegiate teams have had to forfeit national championships because they used illegal players. Major college athletic programs have been placed on probation for violating recruiting rules. A former Wimbledon champion retired rather than face allegations of drug use. And the most hallowed record in baseball, our national pastime, the home run record, is tainted because of suspicions of steroid use. Cheating and unfair play, however, are not limited to the college and professional ranks. Not too many years ago, the Bronx Little League team had to forfeit its world championship because they used a 15-year-old boy in an event restricted to those 12 and under. And I'm sure there are many other less publicized examples of breaking or bending the rules, to include tampering and altering of bats, balls, rackets, clubs, and any and all types of equipment to try and gain an advantage over an opponent. In a culture where athletes and coaches are often perceived as number one or no one, the pressure to win at all costs can be immense.
So what are some of the members of our profession teaching our youth? That it's okay to lie and cheat in the name of victory? That winning by any means is more important than fair play and integrity? That championships are more important than character? That the destination is more important than the trip? That it is okay not to honor the game and the rules by which it should be played? That individuals are more important than the team? I've even heard some coaches and athletes say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. My immediate thought is, where did they learn that? You know, they had to learn that somewhere. And if we want our youth to grow into citizens who value fairness, we can begin by teaching them the principles of fairness in the athletic arena. We must teach them to obey the rules of competition, to honor the game and their opponent, to compete fairly and honestly in every contest, to focus on the joy of competition, and to know that winners never cheat and cheaters never win. There's an old saying, and you guys know it from being in coaching, that lessons are caught, not taught. Our youth are far more likely to model the behavior they see us display than simply listen to the words that we say. Our actions must be consistent with the principles of fairness and sportsmanship. We can do this in a number of ways.
First, I think we must follow both the letter and the spirit of the rules of competition. And in doing so, we will teach our athletes to honor the game and to honor their opponent. For example, we shouldn't run up the score against an outmatched opponent. We shouldn't teach our players to hold or foul when we know the official isn't looking. We shouldn't teach our players to intentionally throw at a batter or employ other tactics solely for the purpose of trying to take the opponent out of the game. We shouldn't use hot equipment to gain an advantage. We must teach our athletes that not only is it unfair to take performance-enhancing substances, it is dangerous. And we must report those who break the rules, even at the risk of personal condemnation. Second, we must clearly define and enforce fairly a code of conduct with our athletes. And we encourage each of you to develop a set of rules and expectations for your players. Clearly outline the consequences for failure to obey those rules. Make sure that you enforce those rules in a fair manner, even if it means disciplining your star player. Listen to your athletes. Allow them to have a voice in your code of conduct. They will appreciate the fair opportunity to participate and be much more likely to take ownership of their behavior. Third, expect your players to value fairness and other pillars of good character simply because it is the right thing to do. We have a saying in our program, focus on the trip, not the destination. What we mean is we want our athletes to focus on the daily process of growth and improvement rather than focus on the destination outcome. We can't control the scoreboard. We can only control what we do each moment of every day to make ourselves better. In the same way, I would encourage you to model and reward character in your athletes simply because displaying character is the right thing to do and not as a means to an end. We all hear the complaint, life isn't fair. I played by the rules, I was honest, I didn't cheat, and I still didn't win. So why bother? The implication is, why play fair if it didn't get me the result I wanted? Well, we have a responsibility to teach our youth that playing fair is the goal. It is the end, not just a means to an end. That the character victory within us is far more important than a win on the scoreboard that's achieved when we compromise our character simply to satisfy the demands of a win-at-all-costs society. There's a saying that sums it up very well. The highest reward for man's toil is not what he gets for it, but what he becomes by it.
And our topic tonight, in kind of wrapping this up, was fairness. And you know, we thought long and hard about fairness and about examples. And more often than not, life does not seem fair. No matter how hard we work, things don't go our way. Our response to adversity is the key here. We talk with our team a lot about the 20-80 rule. You know, we played for the national championship last year, and we had the bases loaded 2 times in late innings, and we were the home team, and all it took was a fly ball or error or just anything to give us a national championship. We didn't get it. You know, we had to face a little bit of adversity there, but we gave our kids, again, the 20-80 rule, and we told them that God had a plan, and we would find out what that plan was later on. But the 20-80 rule simply says that life is 20% what happens to you and 80% how you react to it. And that's a really important thing for you all to think about telling your players all the time. And it's a good thing for your life, too. If you come home and the air conditioning's busted and you go out and you find out it's going to be $1,100 and you get all upset, well, 20-80 rule. You know, there's not much else you can do about it. A recent shocking display of unsportsmanlike conduct was recently reported in the USA Today following a football game between 2 Maryland high schools. Quote, 3 Magruder high school football players received minor cuts to their hands after their 55-7 win against Blake High School. A Blake player used a box cutter to slice the players during post-game handshakes. Local police are investigating. At some point in his life, the Blake player learned that this was an acceptable response to an adverse situation. It is incumbent upon us as coaches and administrators to walk our talk and always set a positive example of character, integrity, and fairness in everything we do. We must not lose sight of the powerful role we play in athletics. We must not lose sight of what a huge influence we are on the lives of these young people. We must recognize the teaching moments that come along every day in our work, and we must take advantage of these. Character is not something to be practiced only when the decision is critical and the spotlight is brightest. Another thing we say in our program, it's the little things that count. If we make the little things important, the big challenges will take care of themselves. Karen and I would like to leave you with a quote which illustrates that good character must be an all-time thing. Watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your words. They become actions. Watch your actions. They become habits. Watch your habits. They become character. Watch your character. It becomes your destiny. Thank you very much.